How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or Unknown Coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. As always, if you guys do want access to the private repository for this project, it is going to be in the description down below. Go ahead and watch that video, and that'll show you how to gain access to that. As that being said, let's go and hop into what we're working on today. Today, we're going to go ahead and continue working on our list page. Obviously, we don't have any lists here because I restarted the application. And if I seem a little bit rusty at recording and whatnot, it's because I just got back from vacation, and I've also been working on some other stuff before I went on vacation, so forgive me there. But we might need to go ahead and repopulate these. We'll see. It seems like we're going to be going ahead and continue working on creating lists, specifically being able to click next and start adding some people as well. So for now, we don't need to actually view new lists or anything like that, but if we need to, we can add them. With that being said, let's go and hop into the code, get to work, and start being able to actually make some lists here. We're going to start out in the front end really quick, and we're going to make a small change to a typo that we made. So we need to go into our create list modal form.css, go into our features, we'll go into our list, we'll go into our list components, and then we want our modal form.css, and then in here we want to look for form image dash label, and I'm thinking it might be, let's see here, I don't know exactly what line this is supposed to go on, right here I guess, and it looks like we had a typo, maybe create list modal form image label, although it looks like it's spelled properly. I'm not sure what the issue is here. Create list modal form image, let's see if we typoed in here maybe. It's been so long since I recorded, I don't remember what this typo is. Let's see here. We can find our label, create list modal form image label. That looks fine as well. Let's just copy paste this and maybe end up fixing this. I'm not 100% sure, but let's just double check this as well. Let's go and paste this in. Looks the same. Let's go ahead and paste this in as well. I don't think that maybe this was a typo, or maybe we remember to fix it or something. I'm not sure what's going on with this, but if we see it pop up again, we will fix that. So with that being fixed, let's actually hop into our backend here and start working in there. Inside the backend, we want to go ahead and open up our discovery service. We're going to be able to set it up to be able to search for people to add to a list. Let's hop into a discovery service and let's go and let our LSP get active and everything. That way it doesn't get mad at us when we start typing. There we go. And we're going to go and say private, final. And this is going to be token service. Let's go and bring that in. Go ahead and say token service. Looks good. And then we need to go ahead and bring in the token service in here. Go ahead and bring in our token service and token service. Service, and then we'll go ahead and say this dot token service is equal to token service. There we go. Looks good. And then we want to go ahead and scroll down. We have our list application user, search for users here. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in the token. I don't remember exactly why we are updating this, unfortunately. But now we're going to bring in string token and string search term. And we're going to go ahead and come down a little ways to here. We're going to make a change to the all users. So here we're going to go ahead and say username, username is equal to, and actually want to go ahead and say string, maybe string username is equal to token service dot, and we're going to go ahead and call get username from token, pass in that token. Okay, and then here we're going to go ahead and say all users is equal to all users dot stream, and then let's go ahead and make some changes here. So after this, after the stream, we're going to go and say dot filter, and inside the dot filter we're going to say user lambda and then not user dot username, and then dot equals, and then pass in the username from the token, and we can go ahead and call distinct, and we go ahead and call the collect, and we can go ahead and call the collectors, collectors.to list. So that looks good. So basically we want to make sure that the user that's making the call isn't included inside that. And we need to make sure this is a user.get username, get username, like so. That's better. I don't know where the error is, probably inside our whatever it's called, our token, not token, our, oh my goodness, our controller. That's fine. Let's come below our list of application users and let's go and say public list application, application user. And then once again, we're going to say get random, random user list for suggested. And inside here, we're going to take a string token. I'm just going to take in a string token, I'm sorry. And then here we're going to say string username is equal to, and we'll have a token, token service and get username from token again. And then we'll pass in that token. Looks good to go. Then in here, we'll go ahead and say list of application user. And then here, this is going to go ahead and be users is equal to user repository dot find all. And then once we find all the users, we're going to go ahead and stream it. So dot stream, not stream, stream. There we go. And then below dot stream, oh my goodness, one sec. Below dot stream, we'll go ahead and say dot filter. We want to make sure we get rid of ourselves again. So user lambda not user dot get username, and then we'll say dot equals the username. We'll get rid of ourselves, and then finally we'll go ahead and say dot collect. Here, I don't think we need to use the distinct because we're not doing a bunch of combinations here. Now we can just say collections or collectors dot to list. Like so, looks fine, and then that looks good. And then below here, go and say collections dot shuffle, and we'll go ahead and shuffle that users list if I could type, and then return users like so. That looks good to go. It's going to be Mattis again because search for users is slightly different. That's fine. Now let's go ahead and hop into the discovery controller and get these fixed up. Inside the discovery controller, it's Mattis here because we need to go ahead and bring in that token. So before the request param here, let's go and say at request header. Go and bring in the header. It's going to be HTTP and headers dot authorization like so. And then here we're going to call this string, string token. And then we can come down here and pass in that token. So we're going to have our search term. We'll also go ahead and have our token, and that should make it so it's not mad anymore. We'll also go ahead and say at get mapping, maybe get mapping. And this can be to /user/suggested. And then inside here, we're going to have a public list, and then we'll have an application, maybe. Application user. And here we're going to set get, and then suggested and users list. Once again, we'll have an at request header, and this is going to be an HTTP headers dot maybe authorization again, string and token. That way we can go ahead and exclude ourselves, and then you're going to return discovery service dot, and then this is to get random user list for suggested, pass in that token, and that looks good. So that should be everything we need for the backend. Let's just go and restart the server. It looks like it already restarted. I'm going to restart it again for the heck of it. That looks good. And now what this should be able to do is whenever we go through to actually start creating the list and adding people in, we should be able to see a drop down of people to add into it. So now that we have all of this backend stuff done, let's go and hop into the front end and get to work in here once again. We need to go ahead and create a new component here. So let's go into our list component, hit A, and we're going to go ahead and call this create list user selector. We'll go ahead and say / create list user selector.tsx. We'll go ahead and make a new create list user selector, selector.css, and let's go and hop into here. Let's first go ahead and we'll import React from React, the heck of it, and then let's also import our /, and this is going to be called create list user selector maybe .css. There we go. Then we go ahead and say export const, and this is going to be our create list user selector, which is a react.fc, and it's not going to take anything in, so we can just go ahead and make our arrow function. And let's go ahead and make our return statement really quick. In here, we're just going to go ahead and have, let's see here. Let me scroll down. This is a big component, so hopefully I have enough time to do all this. Have a div, the class name equal to, and then create list -user -selector. And let me make sure I spell selector right. There we go, looks good. The question is, do we want to go ahead and do all of this, and then if we don't have enough time, add in the logic later? I think maybe let's set this up, style it, that way we can actually see it, and then maybe set up the other stuff later. So let's go ahead and hop below this div with the user selector. We might need to set up a couple pieces of state here. So let's go ahead and set up the state, and then we'll deal with all of the logic a little bit later on. So we'll come up here, and inside here we'll go ahead and say const, and we'll need our create list payload equal to use selector, and then inside here we'll have our state and root state, and we'll go ahead and say state.list like so. And then after this, we'll have our const token equal to use selector. We'll have our state and root state. And here we'll say state dot user. And we'll also have a const dispatch, which is an app dispatch equal to use dispatch. That looks good. And then let's set up another couple pieces of state. So const active, active tab, and set active tab is going to equal to use state. Bring in use state. It's going to be a Boolean. Actually, it's a string. My bad. A string. And this is going to go ahead and be suggested. And then we'll have a const in loading users. Loading users. Set loading users equal to use state. This one is going to be a Boolean. And we're going to set this one to true to start. Then we're going to have a const. We'll have our suggested users and set suggested users equal to use state. This one is going to be a user array. So this is going to be what we load in basically whenever we're looking for the suggested users from the discovery service. And then const will have user search results and set user search results equal to use state. And this is also going to be a user array. Go ahead and set that up. There we go. Looks good. Next, we'll have a const select modal tab. For now, we're just going to go ahead and make this an e react.mouse event. And this is going to be on HTML and HTML div element. And we're just going to go ahead and make an arrow function for now. We're going to go ahead and do that later if we have time. Const is active. Once again, this one will have active on string. And then here we could probably just go ahead and return active equal to, and then active tab. That one is small enough. Let's go ahead and fill it out. That's not that big of a deal. Const and then fetch suggested users equal to, and then async and arrow function. Again, we'll go ahead and fill this out a little bit later on if we have time. Then we'll go ahead and have a const add user to list equal to e and react.mouse event. Maybe event. This is going to be on HTML and button element. Let's go and make an arrow function for this. We'll fill this out in a little bit as well if we have time. And then const search for user is equal to an arrow function. This one will be an async arrow function. So async. And this is going to take in a payload, payload of string to the person that we're searching for. And again, we'll just do kind of like a stub here. Next, we'll go ahead and say const handle search change. This one we can probably deal with really quickly. E on react.mouse event. And this is going to be on HTML and input elements. Make sure we close that. And then here it's going to say search for users and then pass in e.target.value. That one is small enough. We'll just go ahead and deal with that. Const and we'll handle clear search. Once again, we'll set up an arrow function. This one's not going to take anything in. And we can go ahead and just say search for users and then go ahead and put that as an empty string. That one's pretty easy as well. And then we'll have a const and remove user from list. Here we're going to have an e maybe react.mouse event, and this will be on an HTML button element. And then once again, we'll just go ahead and set that up as a stub. And then finally, there's a use effect. So use effect, set up the use effect and set this up. This is going to go ahead and watch for our active tab. So whenever the tab switches in between them, we'll go ahead and say fetch suggested users and then go ahead and do that. So whenever we switch between tabs, we'll go ahead and deal with that. I don't know what's going on e.target.value here. Let's see here. Did I spell something wrong? That looks fine. Should have to be e.currentTarget, e react.mouse event. I spelled something wrong. React looks fine. Let's make sure. Let's see what I spelled wrong here. E react.mouse event HTML button element. Something is not quite right here. I imported React from React, so that should be fine. Let's import user. Let's just see what's going on with this really quick. e.target.value, that looks like it should be fine. I guess let's just keep working and we'll see what's going on with it a little bit later on. I'm not sure why the React isn't acting like it wants to work here. So we'll see what happens here. So let's just go ahead and work on this stuff, and then we'll circle back and start working on some of the other logic as we go. I just want to be able to get as much of this done as possible. Now we're gonna have a div with a class name equal to, and it's going to be create dash list user top selector. Maybe I should have put selector top, but it is what it is. And inside here we're going to have another div, and here we're going to have ID equal to members. So this is going to be the people who are in the list. Class name equal to, and this is going to be fun. We're going to have curly braces. We're going to do backticks, create dash list user selector dash top dash selector dash tab, and then we're going to have $sign curly brace is active. If I could type, that'd be cool. Is active, and we're going to check for members. So if members is active, question mark. Let's set up our different things here. So here, let me go ahead and scroll over so I can see what's going on. So if this is the case, then we're going to go ahead and have create dash list dash user dash selector dash top dash tab dash active. Otherwise, it's going to be nothing. And let's make sure we spell active right. Active, like so. There we go. And then that looks good. Let's come down here. And then on click, go ahead and set up an on click equal to, and it's going to be select modal tab, like so. And then we can go ahead and close out this div. Inside the div, we're going to say members. And I should spell members right. Members. And then we're going to go ahead and have curly braces and backticks, or actually parentheses and then curly braces, and this is going to say create list payload question mark dot users dot length. So if we have one, we'll go ahead and do that. And we're going to go ahead and have is active inside curly braces again, and then we're going to go ahead and pass in members again, like so. If that's the case, you're going to say and then here we're going to have a div. Whoops, maybe if I could type, that'd be cool. A div, the class name equal to, and this is going to go ahead and be create dash list dash user selector dash, and then top tab dash underline. And then we can go ahead and close out that div like so. So there is the first one. And basically what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to copy this div for members like so. And we're going to go ahead and paste it in for another one. So let's go ahead and paste this guy in, make sure it looks pretty. So now instead of members, this is actually going to be suggested. So suggested like so. And here we're going to have the same thing, except here instead of members, this is going to go and say suggested. Go and say suggested like that. Looks good. We can still have the select modal tab. That's all fine. And then inside of here, instead of members, this is going to go ahead and say suggested. So let's go ahead and delete this. And this is going to go and say suggested like so. Is active will now say suggested instead. So we'll go ahead and say suggested like that. Then we can come below our top selector. And then now we're going to have our selector list. So we're going to have a div with a class name, name equal to, and this is going to be create dash list dash user selector dash list. And then here we're going to go ahead and have curly braces, active tab is equal to, and suggested. And then we're going to have an and. Let's come below here. So inside here, we're going to go ahead and have a div class name equal to, and actually not class name, sorry, it's going to have a style equal to double curly braces. Width is going to be 100%. Maybe if I could type, width is going to be 100%, and padding is going to equal to 4px and 16px. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Inside of our div for suggested, we're going to have a list search bar. Let's go and bring that in, and place folder is going to equal to search people. And then we're going to have a width equal to 100%. So 100% like so. Handle search change is going to go ahead and be handle search change like so. Our handle search clear is going to equal to handle search clear. And then I think we also have a handle search bar clicked possibly. Let me double check. Nope, we are not using handle search bar clicked on this one. Let's go ahead and close out of that. So if we are searching for people or in the suggested tab, we can go ahead and search. So let's go ahead and come outside of the suggested tab. Then we're going to have loading users. And then if we're loading users, we're going to go ahead and have a circular progress, which for the time being, it's going to be loading users no matter what. So size is going to equal to 20 and SX is going to equal to, and color will be pound and 1D, A1, F2. Looks good. Now we can come out of loading users. It should load that in a second. Okay, cool. We're gonna have another set of curly braces, and here we're gonna say not loading users. And we're also gonna go and say active tab is equal to suggested. And we could have probably used that is active here, but it is what is. Question mark. And then here we're gonna have a div. Whoops. Let's also just do this really quick to make it happy so we're not breaking everything. And then let's make sure we close out of this one. There we go. And then we can also go ahead and do one of these like so. Okay, so now inside of here, let's actually make this a div with a class name equal to, and it's going to be create dash list dash user selector, selector dash suggested. Inside here, we'll go ahead and have our curly braces suggested users dot map. And then we're going to map through each user. Again, we're not going to have this list currently, but it is what it is. And then in here, we're going to have const is member and equal to create list payload question mark dot users dot sum. And then here, we're going to pass in u, and u dot user ID is equal to user dot and then user ID. Maybe if I could type or false. So if it doesn't exist or whatever, we'll just go ahead and return false. And then here we're going to return and a p with username, user.username. I believe we're going to come back through and fix that up a little bit. That's fine. I don't know why. Oh, we're setting up his member because we're going to do some extra logic later. Again, this is kind of like a placeholder, so we'll come back and deal with that. I don't know what's going on with handle search change here. I just typoed. Okay, that's fine. What's going on with this one? Did I just typo this as well? I'm not sure. I'll deal with that in a second. Let's come down below to the members. So now we're going to have a div with a class name equal to create list dash user dash selector dash members. Members like so. Here I have a create list payload question mark dot, and we'll have users dot map. So if we have this, we'll go ahead and map through each user. And these ones are for sure members, so we don't need to check. Return, and again, we're going to have a placeholder. We're going to create a card for this later in the next episode, or maybe after that, we'll see how far we get. And this one's going to say user.username as well. So that looks fine. I'm not sure what's going on with list search bar. Let's see here. So add missing attribute. So I messed up something with handle search change. Let's go ahead and clear this out. Delete this. We have a handle search change here. Let's see what's going on with this guy. I don't know why it's being mad at me because we created that handle search change. I don't know if I typoed something up top. What's going on with that? Handle search change. I must have typoed something because now it seems like it's fine. It's not mad at us, so it seems fine. Now we still have an issue with react.mouse event here. We shouldn't need to say e.currentTarget, e.currentTarget.value. I don't think we should need to do that. I don't know what's going on with this. This might need to be, this is supposed to be a change event, I think. Let's go ahead and make this a change event, and then we can say e.target.value. I think that's what was going on with this. Yes, it was. Looks better. And then maybe really quickly, let's set up this select modal tab. That way we can go ahead and select the different modals really quick. And then we can see how much time we have left to see if we want to style this and also add it into the other components. So let me scroll up really quick here. Inside of here, let's go ahead and say E dot, and we're going to go ahead and say stop propagation really quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and say if e.currentTarget.id is equal to, equal to suggested, like so. Then we're going to go ahead and say set active tab. Let's go ahead and set that to suggested. And then we'll also have an if e.currentTarget.id is equal to, and we'll go ahead and say members, members, like so. There we go. Set active tab, and this is going to go ahead and be to members, like so. So now we have that logic set. We should be able to switch between them. Let me go ahead and check how much time we have left here in this episode to work, and then decide what I want to do from here. Okay, we're just at 30 minutes, which whenever I edit this down, will probably be down to 27, 26, or 28. We have a little bit of time to work still, so let's go ahead and add this into our create list mode of content. So let's go ahead and hop into that component. So inside of our create list mode of content, we have this section here for create list user selector. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And then let's also go ahead and say create list, and then now this can go ahead and be user selector and bring that in. Keep in mind right now it's not going to look very good because we haven't styled it or anything. Let's just make sure we can get to it. I don't remember if we even actually set it up to be able to click next and get to this thing, so that's what we need to go ahead and check in on. So let's go ahead and hop into the front end and just see what's going on here. And it looks like I have a typo still. Let's just double check. Yeah, so handle search clear is still not happy with me. Let's just double check this. Let's see here. So handle search clear, I think let's search change, search clear search 7e react dot, and I think this is saying it should be a change event. Let me double check here. So something's going on with this guy, because this one is saying that it should be handle search clear, list search bar, handle search. Oh, that's why this should be clear, like so. And I might have still handle clear search, typoed it. Let's go ahead and fix this up. Copy this and then paste it in here. Now keep in mind, if we get through to the next step here, it's going to be loading forever because we're not actually pasting anything in. Or we're not actually fetching any people. Let's see if that fixes it. There we go. Looks a lot better. Let's refresh for the heck of it. Create a list. And this will just be test list. Test list. And we can click next, and nothing happened. So I don't think I have it completely set up to actually load that in currently, and I don't know where that's supposed to be at. Let me double check something really quick. Let's hop into the code here. I think that's going to be in the top bar maybe. And let's see here. So we have close modal, we have our generate, we have our handle button clicked, except this is spelled incorrectly, so that's cool. So that should have taken us to step 2. So this one, I think we only want displaying. I don't think we want this here. I think we only want this if there was a value inside of the image field, I believe. And I think this was supposed to be inside of this if statement is the other issue. So let's go ahead and bring this in. I think I just put this in the wrong spot. Let's go ahead and bring this up here, paste that in, make it look a little bit nicer here. And let's give this another try after refreshing. Go and open this up. Let's just go and give this a test list like so. Hit next. There we go. So yeah, so right now it's not styled, so it doesn't look great. But you can see that we're rendering some stuff that we probably shouldn't be. Search people we need to work on. Then obviously we have this loading because we haven't done anything. So now to wrap up the episode, let's just go ahead and style this up. I'm gonna have to do some work to put together what's going to happen in the next episode, but I don't want to go too long here. Let's go ahead and just style this a little bit to make it look a little bit better, and the next episode we'll go through and set up all the logic inside of the front end to actually be able to search for all these people and add them as well. Inside the code, let's hop into the create user selector.css. Inside the CSS, let's go and start with create and dash list dash user top dash selector. There's a good chance I typo here, so fingers crossed I catch anything. With 100%, we'll have a height of fit dash content, and then we'll have a display flex with a justify content. It's going to be spaced evenly, and then we'll go ahead and have an align items in the center and a border on the bottom of 1px solid, and then it's going to be pound 665 and then 7786. There we go. Next we'll go have a create dash list dash user, and this can be selector dash top And let me make sure create list user, and that's what it says, selector dash top dash tab. And I typoed something of selector twice. We might need to go through and copy paste some of these. Let's go into the TSX and just make sure we're doing this right. So let's just double check this one, copy it, and let's go ahead and paste it in. I don't want to deal with a bunch of typos in here, and I definitely messed that up somehow. Let's go and check the next one. So here's our top selector. Let's go and copy this, hop in there. This one was fine. We actually want to go ahead and do this. So that should be that. Create list user top selector. Let's go ahead and find the tab. So now we'll go ahead and make sure our tab is spelled properly. There we go. Here we're going to have a width of 50%. Then we'll go ahead and have a position. Position of relative. Underneath relative, we'll have a padding 20px and 0. And then we're going to go ahead and have a margin bottom 1px and a display. Maybe display of flex. We'll have a justify content in the center. We'll align items in the center. And then we'll have a color of pound 65 and 7786. There we go. And we need to go ahead and set up a hover for this. Let's go ahead and copy this guy really quick. So copy and then paste that in. Here we'll set up a hover. Inside the hover, I have a cursor, a pointer, and we'll also have a background dash color. And this is going to be RGBA of 0,0,0.1. Excuse me. Then next, let's go ahead and set up the active tab. So let's hop back into the TSX and copy that. Now we want the active. So let's go ahead and copy this guy. So create list user selector top tab active. Let's hop back in there and say dot p. There we go. And then here, color will be black. Next, we need to go ahead and do the tab underline. So let's grab that one. So now we want the tab underline. So let's go ahead and copy this guy. That way we do not typo it. Copy, hop back into the CSS. Go ahead and say paste. There we go. Here, we're going to go ahead and have a width of 56px. 56px. Have a height of 4px, maybe. And then we'll have a position of absolute. This is going to go ahead and have a bottom of 0. And then we're going to have a background dash color of pound. And this is going to be 1D, A1, and then F2, like so. After this, we're going to have a border of none. But then we're going to have a border dash radius of 2px. I believe that's everything we need there. Next, we need to go ahead and grab the create list selector list. So let's go ahead and grab that. So now we need this create list user selector list. Go and grab this. Here, we'll go ahead and dot and paste that. Create list user selector list. Width is 100%. We're going to go ahead and have a height of fit dash content. We're going to go ahead and have a min dash height. Min height of 4, and this is going to be 96px. Then we're going to have a display of flex and a flex dash direction of column. After column, we're going to have a justify content, and this is going to be flex dash start, and we're going to align items in the center. Just a couple more here. Next, we need the selector suggested. So let's go ahead and hop in and grab that. So here, we're going to go ahead and grab this create list user selector dash suggested. Go and copy that, hop back into CSS. Once again, we're going to say dot, paste that in. That way we don't typo anything, and width will be 100%. And we need one more thing. So let's hop into the TSX one more time. And then now we need our selector members. Let's go ahead and copy the members. And let's go hop into the CSS. Once again, go ahead and say dot, and then paste that in. And this one is also going to have a width of 100%. So for the time being, everything should be good to go here. Let's go and hop into the front end, give it a refresh, make sure it's looking okay. We'll wrap up this episode, and the next episode we'll start working on setting up that logic and then see where we get to with the user card. Now we can see it looks a lot better. We should be able to click between them because we set up that logic at least. That looks really good, and everything is looking good there. Obviously it's spinning because we're not loading in any user set. We'll go ahead and deal with that once we are actually able to set up that logic. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the episode here. It shouldn't be too long. I should be able to cut out some stuff, but if you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Everything helps out here with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see where we start from absolute scratch to get to the point right now, it's going to be a playlist loading right up in the end card coming right up. With that being said, y'all, I hope you have a great day. This has been Ethan, Uncoder, and I'll see you all in the next video.